Hello everyone, welcome to the Hypergamous Journey. My name is Denise. At this channel we discuss hypergamous dating. Hypergamy is the natural inclination of women to want to date and marry someone of a higher financial level. Today I want to talk about mating. So a lot of women in this age demographic of 50 and above have been married, are now divorced, and are single and want to date. Either you're dating or you want to date, but you would like companionship, a partner in crime, someone to do life with, but you don't want to make it legal. You want to mate. So you want the emotional security of a marriage, but you don't want all of the legal paperwork and the legal entanglement that can ensue when you are 50 and above. So you have your own, you have your own bank. You have your own bag, as they say today. You have your own bag. And you don't want to entangle your bag with someone else's bag, because in your mind, and actually you have worked 20, 30, 40 years for what you have, and you don't want to lose it or split half of it through a divorce, which you have already gone through once, know what it's like, and you're like, been there, done that, and I don't want to do it again. I get it. I have never been married. I don't have any children, so it's different for me. Yes, I've worked 30 years. I'm now retired April 1st, 2024. Yay. And I'm looking to get married. So I want to talk about mating and how it can be for you. So I did a video last year, 2 years ago, about how to make mating financially advantageous to you. Now, some of you may say, well, I have my own money. I don't need his, etc., etc. Well, then maybe this video isn't for you, but I encourage you to listen to it all the way through, because I feel that you can have the same benefits of marriage without the legal paperwork when you mate. The question is, are you mating with the man, the right man, mating with a man who is willing to do the following things? Like, you can have a life insurance policy on each other. You can have long-term care insurance on each other. These are the things that a married couple would have. Life insurance on each other, long-term care on each other, long-term care insurance if something happens and he's not able to care for himself, or what they call it, the daily activities of life, or something like that, ADOL, something like that. You can have an insurance policy on each other. To my understanding, there is no law that says you must be married to have that kind of long-term care insurance on each other. Life insurance policies, as far as I know, there's no law that says you must be a married couple to have life insurance on each other. So the things that you have together, you can make it like you're married, but you just don't have the legal paperwork if the law allows. Now, it becomes a little bit more tricky when you live in separate residences. But when you live together and you're basically holding yourselves out as a married couple, you're doing things together, and you're not necessarily saying, this is my husband, this is my wife, but you might. No, there's no law that says that you can't do that. But I feel like this will work better if you're living together. And some people do live together. They rent out their separate homes. They might buy one together, or he might move into yours, or you might move into his. I recommend you move into his, but hey, and you rent yours. But you can do it however you want to. But I'm urging you to think about it in terms of what are the benefits that married people have, married couples have, and how can I get that for myself? And the reason I say that is because there have been a few people in my life that I have known who have had these 20 plus year mated relationships. So they lived in their separate apartments or their separate homes. And most of these people are in New York City. So they lived in their separate homes. The man had a brownstone, the woman had an apartment. And so they dated each other for like 20 years, maybe more. And then the man decides that he wants to, move south, sell his brownstone, move south, and buy a home in another state. So the woman, he bought her an engagement ring many years ago. He wanted to get married. She didn't. When she was ready, he wasn't until the window closed. The window closed. And so now, for all intents and purposes, they kind of broken up. Now they have this friendship, but it's not the same. He now lives in another state, probably has another woman or two. And, she's a friend. And maybe he might send her some money, whatever. But if she had been banking the money that he was giving her, I think he was a provider kind of man, then, she might be set for these last 20 years. Who knows? But if she didn't, then, she's SOL, right? It's like too bad, too sad. So that's my thinking about mated. I don't recommend it, of course. I am a firm proponent of marriage. But if you don't want to do that, look at the things and the benefits of a married couple that maybe or just make a list of the things that married people do for each other to prepare for death, like the life insurance policy. If you're mating and you're acting like a committed couple, when he's sick, you're there for him. When you're sick, he's there for you. And it's everything from as minor as the flu or a cold or the flu to something as serious as cancer. Now, the disadvantage or the con of it is that if he is sick in the hospital, you have no control over his care, his medical care of any kind. And if he dies, you have no say-so over how his body is interned. So his children will come in, his ex-wife will probably come in and take over. And so you give up your rights to have any say in the way that he's buried, what clothes, where, what kind of funeral it is, even though he's told you, I want to be cremated, but his children want to bury him. He might want to go into the cemetery where his mother is, and his children want him to stay in the state or city or town where they grew up. So you give up all of those rights. And the same thing, with death, whether he's in the hospital, and he doesn't have any say-so over you when you are with your family and your children and your former spouse. He has no say-so over that. And some of you may be okay with that. It's like, okay, that's why you're keeping your house and renting your house out, so that if you didn't buy the house together that you currently live in and it's really his house, you got to leave. And you can't really count on them being, civil about it, because they may give you a couple of months to move out, or they may want you out immediately. And then if they do, then you have to go to the landlord-tenant court, probably in your state or your town, to prevent them from illegally evicting you, because basically you're a tenant. I'm not a lawyer. So let me be clear. I'm not a lawyer, but you would be a tenant. And if you and him don't have some kind of lease where you're staying there, which normally people wouldn't, then you're not there legally once he dies. And his kids can get rid of you. How long it will take for them to do that? Can they come and lock the door and leave you out? Maybe they can, maybe they cannot. It depends on the laws, landlord-tenant laws of your town. Or maybe even state. It might be a state thing, but I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. So you put yourself in a very uncertain position when you mate and live with the man. And of course, if he lives with you, then he has to deal with your children and your family putting him out. And so the same thing goes for him. So I recommend that if you are going to mate, that you meet with a lawyer to get a legal view of what it really entails, so that when all is said and done, and you're 50. So if you've been with him 10, 15 years, you're 70, 75. You don't want to be put on the street, not illegally. You want to know what your rights are. And if he really cares about you, like he says he does, then what your lawyer is suggesting, you go to him with it. Now, I'm not saying you present the whole written document that your lawyer has said, but you have a discussion with him about what's important to you in becoming one as a mated couple. Another thing I suggest is that you get a engagement ring, some kind of ring that symbolizes your commitment. And it doesn't mean, like I said, that you go down to the justice of the peace or have a civil ceremony or any of that. It's just a symbolic gesture so that people looking on the outside see you as a united couple. Like maybe they can see the ring and say, oh, she's engaged to him. And nobody has to know all the details, but for social perception, for the social perception of it, your relationship has been defined. For the social aspect of it, people from the outside can see and respect the relationship, especially those who are just meeting you for the first time. He can introduce you as my fiance, and you both know you're not going to get married, but he can do that to give it context for social reasons, because people don't respect too much in society mated relationships, especially people who don't know you. If there is no ring on the woman's finger, men think that she's up for grabs. And it might be a hard sell to try to get him to wear a ring when you're really not married. But the ring is really to have him subconsciously remember that he's in a committed relationship with you. That he is in a committed relationship with you. What else? I digress, but I see all this gray hair. Oh my gosh. It's funny to see yourself like graying right before your eyes. It's like, wow, I'm graying right before my own eyes. But yeah, so the sun hits the hair in a certain way that the gray shows. So thank God I've lived long enough. I'm living long enough to see gray hair, right? What else? So that's all I have to say about the mated relationship. I believe I will try to find the video I did on mated relationships. And I'm not sure I even titled it Mated. It was just probably had something to do with lifestyle creep and things of that nature. Or, you know, when a man is marrying you so that he, or dating you or mating with you so that he can increase his lifestyle. So I have the Facebook group. Email me at the hypergamous journey@gmail.com, and I will send you instructions on how to join the private Facebook group. The name of the group is The Dating Playbook for Mature Women. I have Amazon journals. I have journals on Amazon. Check them out. Different sizes and different kinds of affirmations. And if you would like to donate, go to Buy Me a Coffee / the Hyperv, something like that. It's in the description. But it said Buy Me a Coffee. And the Facebook. Oh, yes. And if you want the free dating guide to get started on dating again, email me at thehypergamisjourney@gmail.com, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.